I'm JJ. I'm the Director of Dining here at Artman. Welcome to our cooking demo today. We are doing a fresh mozzarella and tomato tower. So the reason I like the fresh mozzarella and tomato tower is that it's a very versatile dish. It brings a lot of flavors of the summertime together, brings in some nice heirloom tomatoes that really hit the prime of the season in that July-August window, brings in some fresh mozzarella, as well as one of my favorites, fresh basil. This item is also very versatile, and we have it here on our menu for our residents. You'll see it in two different variations on our menu. We have a caprese pasta salad, as well as a tomato mozzarella salad. Both are extremely enjoyed by our residents. The nice thing about the tower, if you're doing the tower at home, is that it can either be a fun at your next backyard barbecue, or you can pair it with one of those fun summer barbecue items. Alright, so we're going to get started and we're going to start making our tower. So the first thing I like to do anytime I'm cooking is to get all my ingredients together. Mozzarella and tomato tower calls for heirloom tomatoes, which you'll see we have a really nice variety here. Some are very purple and green, we have yellow, we have red. So really to bring a lot of color to your tower is to have a lot of different colors when it comes to your tomatoes. These tomatoes either can be picked in a garden in the July-August months and or be found at your farmer's market or in your favorite grocery store. The next item is fresh mozzarella. This mozzarella is a larger style mozzarella. You really want a larger style mozzarella ball because it goes better with a large slice of tomato. Our other ingredients, we have a balsamic reduction, as well as we have some fresh made pesto, which I'm going to show you how to make, as well as some caramelized leeks. So the tricky thing about leeks are an onion, and they're really pungent and they're really often very dirty. So when we talk about the leek, I'm going to show you how to cut it, but the key really is to soak it in water. But because you're going to saute it in some olive oil, you want to make sure that it's really, really dry before you put it into that hot frying pan. In our tower, like I said, we have tomatoes, we have mozzarella, we have pesto, we have the leeks, we have the balsamic reduction. So to get started, we're going to make the pesto first. So the nice thing about pesto is you use fresh basil, right? Which if you have a plant at home, likes a little bit of sun, likes a little bit of shade, and it's very easy to pick. So you can go out and pick some fresh basil, and or you could get a potted basil plant from your local farmer's market or your local grocery store. And then you're going to add some Parmesan cheese to that basil in your food processor, as well as some wonderful, beautiful pine nuts that we're gonna put in there. Once you get the basil and the Parmesan cheese and the pine nuts in there, if you like to kick it up just a smidge, you can put in some red pepper flakes. All right, what I then do is put my top on my food processor, and we're gonna add some olive oil. And what I like to do is add a little bit at a time, and then blitz it, pulse that, and then add a little bit more olive oil, so that you then get a really nice consistency of pesto. What I did for this recipe, because it's going to be a pesto drizzle, I thinned out the pesto just enough that it really falls off the back of the spoon, the way it's going to drizzle over your tower the most beautifully. The nice thing about pesto, you can make a batch, you can make it a little on the thicker side, and what I like to do is take my enclosed ice cube tray, and I like to freeze it into little 1 ounce portions, so that if I don't need a whole bunch of pesto for a recipe, I can just pull out a little bit at a time. All right, so as I'm guiding you through this recipe, we're gonna start with our leeks and we're gonna caramelize those. So you wanna cut off the stem of the leek, as well as you want a little bit of the green portion on that to enhance your leeks. And it brings out a lot of nice color in your recipe. You're going to slice the leek down the middle. Okay, and then you're going to Julienne the leeks and get some really nice slices. Okay, once you get those really nice slices, you're going to put them in water, and you're gonna let them soak. Once you let them soak, you're gonna then dry them off really good with a paper towel and saute them in a little bit of olive oil. Great, so now we're gonna get started with our heirloom tomatoes. And these tomatoes have been washed, and you wanna make sure that you get them level enough that you can start to slice them. So be careful slicing them. I chose a nice purple green style tomato. Has some beautiful striping in it, and a red one, and a yellow one to make our tower today. The nice thing I like to use with tomatoes is a serrated style knife so that it's easier to make your nice slices. So Artman has a really unique household model in which residents can dine in a smaller setting versus that large dining room that holds 100 to 200 people. We have found that this model helps residents engage and socialize with each other. They build great friendships with each other as well as our dining staff. The nice thing about the household model, it allows residents to customize their menu options. So if a resident wanted something like just coffee and a Danish for breakfast, they would be able to do that. The nice thing at our lunch menu, everything comes mise en place from our main kitchen, so that if a resident didn't like lettuce or wanted extra tomato on their sandwich, they could do that as an option also. We do serve 3 meals a day here, and we have a position which is very unique to Artman called a dining coordinator. Now that our tomatoes are all sliced, we're going to get started on our mozzarella cheese. And once again, I like the bigger size mozzarella because it works better than with slices with the tomatoes, so it really presents well at the end. I like to use a chef-style knife for the mozzarella so that you don't get rips in the mozzarella. If you use that same serrated knife that you did on your tomatoes, then you would very easily rip the mozzarella. So this unique position that we have, that's called a dining coordinator, really allows our residents to feel very special at mealtime. The dining coordinators work consistently in the same households, and it allows them to build great relationships with their residents. So if a dining coordinator perhaps notices that someone isn't eating well, they can try something new. If they notice that someone is having some issues, maybe coughing when they're eating certain items, they can alert the interdisciplinary team here at Artman so that our dietitians and our speech therapists can all work together to make sure that the residents are being cared for the best that we can. All right, and now we're going to start to build our tower. So what I did was I took that pesto and I added a little extra olive oil to it to thin it down just a little bit, and I put it in a squirt bottle. If you don't have a squirt bottle at home, you can just use it right out of the bowl and you can just dribble it onto the plate. So I'm just going to take this and do it on a little circular motion there to present very nicely on our plate as a garnish on the bottom. Then I'm going to start with the red tomato and then do a slice of cheese and then a yellow tomato and then a slice of cheese, purple tomato, another slice of cheese, and you could go as high or as low on your tomato stacks as you would like. All right, I always like to finish it off with a tomato slice, and then we're going to take a little more pesto and drizzle it on top, as well as then use our balsamic reduction so that you have all these savory flavors. All right, then we're going to garnish it with a nice little clip of basil. Top it off with our caramelized leeks, and then you have a beautiful summertime dish. And here is our final product, fresh mozzarella and tomato tower, which I enjoy so much this summer season and look forward to cooking with you again soon.